Hello and welcome. You're watching Stephen live from wonderful Wiltshire, England. It is 2:05. It is Tuesday and it's getting hot again. Hello. Now, the picture behind me, you can see, is Stonehenge, and I need your help. What I'm going to do is create a visitor guide for Stonehenge. Now, I know there are visitor guides already available, but this one is going to be different, and you can help make it different by giving your reminiscences, your memories of your trip to Stonehenge. So what we're going to do is produce a new guide to Stonehenge. Stonehenge is behind me, and I'm going to talk about Stonehenge today to get us in the mood, and each week at this time I will present to you an updated version of the Stonehenge experience. Now, Angelika and I, oh, by the way, this is AI Run Thrive Chat Show, episode 73B with Stephen. Thank you for watching. We are live from Wiltshire, England. Wiltshire is where Stonehenge is. Okay, and there is the henge, and that's exactly as you can see it today. I've got to be honest, it hasn't always looked like that, but that's what it looks like at the moment. It's okay, they're not doing any work on it. It's just been reconstructed to what it originally was. Okay, and the mystery as to how they got the stones there still exists, and the mystery as to why they built it is still there. Now, we're going to talk about a visit to Stonehenge. I suppose the place to start is, and I'm actually going to use my iPad. Okay, I'm using my iPad along with Notebook LM as a reference, so that when I tell you something, it's accurate. Okay, this is important. Accuracy is important. So the admission prices for this year, 2026, are £24. So to go around the inner circle of the stones, well, no, there are three ways to visit. First of all, you can visit for free, in which case when you get to the stones, you're in an outer circle. Then if you pay, or you're a member of the English Heritage, I'll come to that in a minute, then you can go on the inner circle. And then if you pay a fee and visit after normal opening hours, you can go inside the stones. And that fee for going inside the stones is currently £70. So £70 to walk inside the stone circle. And that's available pre-book. Whenever you go to Stonehenge, do pre-book. And let's say hello to Lena. Hello to, okay, TJM, I'm going to say. And to Othello, and to Maria, and to Lawrence. Welcome and thank you for joining. Maria, thank you for the like. And we are talking about the place behind me, which is Stonehenge. Now, the admission price to Stonehenge is £24 for adults. It's basically, Stonehenge is the stone circle behind me. It's also a museum and a shop and a cafe. Okay, I would have said restaurant, but I just read it's a cafe. And I do recommend you try the hot pot if it's available. That's the best meal you can get at Stonehenge, is a hot pot. Now, if you're a member of English Heritage or the National Trust, then you can get entry for free. All you need to do is show your membership card and you're in. And let's just say hello to everybody who's actually joining. So Holes, Jane, Saleth, and for everybody who's sticking around for a moment, thank you. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the views. Sophie, hello. Just and Sophie, thank you for the like. Okay, so say hi to everybody. And and dank. Okay, so to get into Stonehenge and to walk around the second circle is £24. And the thing to do is to actually book in advance. If you're going to go to Stonehenge, then do book in advance, because there are, when you get there is a booking hall which is split in two. One is for people who just turn up, and the second is for pre-booked. Pre-booked queue is normally shorter, so basically you can pre-book and you join the shorter queue. That's the first advantage. The second thing is you're going to get in, because there are times of year when it's extremely busy, because there's a national monument and it's a brilliant place to visit. So £24. Now, if you want to go in the inner circle of the stones and walk around there, inside the stones, then you can do that for £70, but you basically after hours. So after the general public have gone home, as an honoured guest, a VIP guest, let's call it, then you can walk around the inside of the stones and just take your time. I mean, it is a mystical place. It aligns with, the two equinoxes, the summer equinox and the winter equinox, and that's the time when the rising sun aligns with the stones. And that's a very special time to be there. If you're going to be there at the equinox, you'd be joining the Druids, and you'd be joining basically people who know all about Stonehenge. Now, back to where I was. I'm building a new visitor's guide to Stonehenge, which will be free. If you have any memories of Stonehenge, then please do write it in the comments, and they may well end up in the final guide. So when you arrive, okay, so £24 to get in, and when you arrive, well, how do you get to Stonehenge? Okay, getting to Stonehenge is simple and straightforward. It is serviced by coaches from London, and the coach takes about 2.5–3 hours to actually get there. The nearest railway station is Salisbury, Salisbury. There are frequent buses from Salisbury to Stonehenge, and that means that you can basically visit. You can drive to Stonehenge, park up, and then you're paying less than you do at Stonehenge, and then you can get on the bus. And there are two, there's a car park and a coach park. And the car park, self-descriptive, that's where you park your car and then you pay the parking fee. Currently the parking fee is £5, irrespective of the number of people in the car, it's £5. And then you go to the kiosks and you either go into the general queue or we go into the pre-booked queue. Now, just coming back to pre-booked for a moment, if you pre-book a visit to Stonehenge and do it online, you'll get a 15% discount. So instead of costing you £24, it will cost you £20.40. So do book in advance. Now, when to go? The best time to go to Stonehenge is when it's not raining. Stonehenge is one of the most miserable places when it's raining and windy. So do check the weather and the weather it's going to be when you're there. And basically, you don't need hiking boots, but you do need some trainers. And because you've got your ticket, you paid £24. You've then got a choice. You've got a choice of two things you can do at Stonehenge. One, you can get on a bus, and the bus will take you right to Stonehenge, and you've got a few hundred yards to walk, and it is included in your ticket price. There's no extras to pay, and you just hop on the bus without booking, and they will take you to Stonehenge, and you can go around and walk around Stonehenge for as long as you want. Yeah, there are no time limits on this. There are no tickets with times on. It's totally unlimited. You could spend an hour at Stonehenge, you could spend 3 hours, you could spend 6 hours at Stonehenge. You can be there all day, take a picnic. Bus is the first way to actually get to the henge, and that is free, and you just get on the bus and go. And there's a return bus as well. The other thing you can do is you can walk through history. because Stonehenge is only one part of the history, because all around Stonehenge, in the lands around Stonehenge, are graveyards and meeting places, and you can walk, and the paths are clearly marked. You cannot get lost. I've tried many a time, but I haven't got lost yet. And you set off from the visitor centre and you walk either on the road or through the fields. I would suggest through the fields. On the left hand side on the way up is a maintained wood, and you can walk through the wood. If you're enjoying this broadcast, then please do share the broadcast. That's a win-win situation. Whenever you're watching a live broadcast on TikTok, do consider sharing it, because more people will see it. Okay, and more people may visit your profile. And let's get back to the comments. And thank you to Sophie. And Sophie is saying, been there when I was younger. Drive by there every year when visiting family in the UK. I'm Dutch. Sophie, brilliant. It is, I mean, it's driving past it is quite there's sort of an air about the place, isn't there? An air of mystery. So Sophie, I'm glad you've had the chance to visit, and I'm glad that you recommend it to other people. Okay, and from Rory. Okay, Rory's saying you're not allowed to touch the stones. If you are if you arrive at Stonehenge for free, you can't get near the stones. If you pay the £24 it is at the moment, then you can basically go round a circle, yeah, but you're not near, you're a bit nearer the stones, you get a better view of the stones, but you cannot touch the stones. There are 2 days during the year, which is the winter solstice and the summer solstice, where you can actually walk around the stones and you can touch them. Now, it used to be that everybody went to Stonehenge could walk through the henge. Not so now. So either you go at winter or summer solstice, or alternatively, if you want to be a VIP and you're willing to go after the site closes, then for £70 you can go inside the stones, you can touch the stones. So it is your choice. The more you pay, the more you see, the more you touch. So thank you for the comments, and hopefully that's answered it. And there we go. Thank you to Rory, and you're a new follower. Sophie, just let me do this now. I'll take a break for a minute, and I'm following you back. But I can't. You'll have to approve me. Okay. And Sophie, thank you. And Lena, thank you for joining from the posts. And Rory is saying thank you, and thank you for the question. Okay, so let's scroll down. You're welcome. And Rory, thank you for the follow. Now, I think, Rory, I followed you back straight away. And we say hello to Katie. Okay, so let's just wind back. You're visiting the stones, you want to get as close to them as possible. Right, to get close, £70, and you do it after hours. To get to the stones, you pay £24, you can get a coach, or you can walk. Walking is the great experience, because what happens is, when you're at the visitor centre, you cannot see the stones. They are a mile away. So what you do is you actually set off and you walk towards the stones, and you're walking uphill. Okay, still can't see the stones. And then you get to the summit and you're level, and you can then see the stones, but they're a long way off. They're half a mile away. And then you get closer and closer, and they come into closer focus. And then you get actually to the stones, and you can walk around them. As I say, you can spend as long as you want there. There's no time ticket, and it's basically, you're actually meeting and greeting hopefully a lot of people from around the world. I mean, a lot of people come to England, they express the intention of visiting our famous sites, and Stonehenge is definitely one of those. Yeah. So You can either bus it or walk it. And if you walk it there, you can get the bus back. If you, well, yeah, so you've got freedom of choice. I want to say thank you for everybody who's watching live, and thank you to TikTok for promoting this. And thank you, everybody. Okay, so just to rewind, what we're actually doing is I'm putting together a new visitor guide for Stonehenge. And to do that, I'm grateful for your memories, reminiscences, and your visits. And we're going to do this every week, probably take about 3 or 4 weeks. So we'll be talking about Stonehenge for the next 3 or 4 weeks. So if you're prepared, bring your questions along, okay? And I'll try and get them answered. Now, I have to admit, I'm relying on 3 things. One, my visits to the stones and my experiences, and we manage to go 4 or 5 times a year. And then I'm using AI. And I'm using AI simply because you forget things, you don't know things. So I've used AI to create a knowledge base all about Stonehenge. So if you ask me a question, I can answer from my memory and knowledge, or I can ask basically Google Notebook, and we can do that live. So if you see me with the iPad, okay, and Rick, do you have a theory on how the stones were placed? Yeah, a lot of timber involved. Basically, the stones came from Marlborough, which is about 12 miles away from Stonehenge, the main stones. And they were basically transported there on logs. So you've got a log, another log, and a third log, and you just put, how they got the stones onto the logs, I don't know. Yeah, but then the stones are on logs, and you just push the stone forward, take up the back log, put it in front. Push the stones forward, take up the back log, put it in front. So that's how they'd be transported. Stones have come from Scotland and from Wales and from England as well. We're going to be covering the stones. Just give me a moment because I want to be helpful as I can. I'm going here. Okay, so I'm just looking at my iPad, and right, the stones. They weigh up to 50 tons, and they came from Marlborough, which is 15 miles away. That's the circle. Stones came from Marlborough. The blue stones, okay, came from Wales, which is 150 miles away. So the odds are either they came overland or they were brought in vessels. Okay, and here. So, and then I'm coming to it. So blue stones are from Wales, and some of them could have been carried by glaciers, but that's the heel stone, which is outside this circle. It's there, somewhere there. That is an altar stone, and then, okay, so it may well be that some of the stones, I've heard that too. I've heard that some of the stones came from Scotland, and thank you for the like. Yeah, and as you just said, right, Alice, welcome. Do you know about the theory that the stones moved because of glaciers melting? I do now. I've got just a minute. I've got my trusty iPad, and I've been doing research, and it says here, basically, scholars continue to dispute whether these were transported entirely by human effort or if they were carried by glaciers during the last ice age. So that's a good point, and thank you, Alice. And if I could like comments, I would. I'm gonna pin that comment. That's something I can do. Okay, so I've pinned your comment. Thank you for the comment. So stones from Marlborough, from Wales, possibly from Scotland on glaciers, and right, and there are intricate carvings and markings on the stone. Yeah, So we'll cover the stones next time we're here as well. But I do want to say thank you. Okay, and we've got that pinned. Okay, so that's that pinned. Okay, right. Okay, so if you paid the £24 entry fee, you can walk around the stones, you can walk to the stones. When you've finished, you can either take a picnic with you, because there are benches every so often around the stones. Not saying there are lots of them, but you should be able to find one free. And then you can walk back through the maintained wood, which is just a chill place to be. And thank you for the gifts, everybody. Sophie, thank you. Okay, and wow, brilliant. And Melina, thank you for joining. We're talking about Stonehenge. Just to recap, Stonehenge is about 72 miles from London. You can get there by train to Salisbury. You can get there by coach to Salisbury. You can get a bus from Salisbury that brings you straight to the stones. To get from London to Stonehenge takes about 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on the traffic. And my biggest suggestion is weather. The weather, if it's wet, this is not the best place on earth to be. If it's dry and there's wind, no problem. If it's sun shining, that's the best to do. So check the Weather Channel and check BBC Weather and make sure that you're actually visiting on a day when there is no rain. What is the reason for Stonehenge? Do you have any cool theories? Yeah, I mean, basically, I'm going to go with the fact that it was for worship and for ceremonies. The people, I mean, basically, the people who were involved in Stonehenge came from all over Europe and from Scotland, Ireland, England, and Wales. So it was a meeting place, brought people together. It was also a place of worship, as the markings tend to indicate. Those would be my 3 main reasons. So meeting place, worship, and the fact that it's difficult to credit that the stones are aligned with the winter and summer solstice. The sun rises in the sky and shines through the stones on the henge, and it's precise. Yeah. Now they do know this because that's the thing, that there's the sunlight coming through. But recent research has shown that in the ground around the henge are more holes, and those holes are indicative that this could have been a Neolithic clock. Yeah, so it's basic. We're only seeing part of the Stonehenge. Most of it, I would hazard a guess, is underground, and that's my theory. Okay, I'm learning more as time goes on. I mean, every time we go there. The thing about Stonehenge is that just a minute. I'm just going to go down here. Right, I need to do a bit more research on that. When you get to the visitor centre, which is just over a mile away from where the stones are, you'll find the following. Bathroom, toilets, okay. The next thing you find is a museum. Now the museum is, you've got a 360-degree diorama. As you enter the museum, you're walking through the story of Stonehenge and how Stonehenge was created. That's your first experience. And there's a diorama, it's all around you, and 360 degrees, and you can walk around. Yeah, it's worth it. Going to Stonehenge is worth it for that experience alone. Then you go out into the museum itself, and you're told the story of how Stonehenge was created. So I'm not going to spoil too much of the mystery. And you also see how people lived 4,500 years ago, and the tools that were actually used in those days, because everything has to be done by hand. Now, raising the stones is done by timber scaffolding. Yeah, if you in terms of our churches, and there's one at Salisbury, which is close to Stonehenge. Then basically timber platforms were used with hoists to actually raise up the stones. Now, how on earth they did it with the weight involved, I don't know. So that's why I'm always fascinated. And Alice, thank you for the follow. And Alice, I'm following you back. Okay, and I've requested to follow you back. Okay, now, so you've got a museum, and the museum tells the story of Stonehenge. Now, you've got a new building this year. There is a place called Durrington Walls, which from around the same time, and they discovered there a building for meetings, and they've recreated it at Stonehenge. So you can go in a new building this year, and you can tour the building, and you can be shown the tools that were actually used and the skills, of wattle and daub, of chiseling. Everything that you need to know about the manufacture of Stonehenge is in the new exhibit, okay, which is a walk-in, walk-round, because it's pretty tall. And I watched them build it last year. And it's taken a great deal of work, and basically Stonehenge is brilliant, is the word I'm going to use. Stonehenge is fascinating. Stonehenge has not yet revealed all its secrets. We're still learning. Scientists and archaeologists are still learning more and more about Stonehenge, and we can learn with them and discover what people were actually doing 4,500 years ago. I mean, what blows me away is that the pottery found around Stonehenge comes from Europe, which is incredible. Now, did you know that 5,000 years ago, this is just an extra, 5,000 years ago, England was actually joined to Europe. There was a land bridge between England and Holland and Belgium and France. You can actually walk from England across to Europe. And you could walk back again. And there were woolly mammoths there, there were hunter-gatherers there, the land was inhabited, the land was lush. And then basically what happened 5,000 or 6,000 years ago is that the water levels started to rise, and the water became the English Channel. And as you know, if you've been down Dover way, the English Channel is real, and the old land is down under the sea. Now, they actually found an artifact. They found a knife, a sword. It came up in a trawler net, and from that they worked out how, because it's called Doggerland, Dogger Bank and Doggerland. You know, when you listen to the weather forecast and it says Dogger, well, it was a physical area, but it's now under the sea, right? So people from Europe were able to walk all the way to Stonehenge. Incredible what we get to know. Okay, so let's come back over here, and I want to say thank you everybody for actually joining me. We are talking about Stonehenge. What I'm looking for is your help. I'm putting together, well, let's just go here. Talking about Stonehenge. I'll be back in a second. I'm not going anywhere. Microphone's still here. We are talking about, if this works, it'd be good. There we are. We are talking about Stonehenge 2026, a journey to the heart of prehistory. And by going to Stonehenge, you will learn, basically, as I said, you've got the museum, you have buildings which recreate what it was like in those times, and you can just walk around. Entry fee, we said £24. If you want to be a VIP and walk inside the stones, then £70. getting there. You can get there by train, you can get there by coach. There are coach tours which go to Stonehenge, and they go to Salisbury and Avebury, and all of that is possible. And welcome to Tozier, and thank you for the follow. I'm going to follow back. Okay, Tozier, welcome. And I can't read, if you've got an icon for a name, I can't read it out. Okay, and thank you for the follow, and hopefully Melissa Lee, welcome, and I'm going to follow back. Okay, and hopefully if I close that and close that, we should be okay now. Okay, so the story of Stonehenge, I'm going to build on this and build a visitor's guide with your help. I shall be back on Tuesdays at 2:05 to more about Stonehenge, different things. I mean, I have got Notebook LM on the case, so we're going to learn all about Stonehenge, and then we give that knowledge to people for free. And just as a note, I love AI, so we're working from my recollections and we're working from AI. The graphic behind me, is created by Google Notebook LM. I'm real, but that's a graphic created by Notebook LM, and I can't draw. But Notebook LM can draw, and that's the graphic that it's come up with to show the journey through prehistory to the modern time. As I switch over to the other side, and you can see how the stones are built, and that's it. Okay, so I'm looking forward to this because it is a research project. I mean, basically, it's a win-win situation because I will pass on the knowledge that I get. If you pass on yours, I'll pass on my knowledge. I'll show you how I'm using AI, because if I'm using this for Stonehenge, you can use Notebook LM and Google Gemini to research any topic you want and to create the graphics for you. It is using AI with a purpose. I tell you, right, I told a story yesterday about compost bins. I got wound up for it, so I don't have a problem with that. Anything you want to know, we are so lucky now that if you have any questions whatsoever, you can go to AI and you can get a fully reasoned answer. Now, take it with a pinch of salt, and if you disagree with AI, feel free to do so. But most of the time, we'll find that thank you, Georgie, thank you. Most of the time, we find that it's actually accurate. So I'm using the accurate bits of Notebook LM and to actually help with the research. I'm using your help as well. Thank you, everybody, for the gifts. Thank you for the likes. And thank you, TikTok, for actually promoting this broadcast. This is why I love TikTok. TikTok actually promotes the broadcast. It does whilst I'm live. If you comment a lot, or if a lot of you join, then this broadcast gets shown to more people automatically. And it's brilliant. Right, you're watching Stephen live from wonderful Wiltshire in England. I live 30 minutes away from Stonehenge. Angelika and I visit 4 or 5 times a year. It's about time we went again. This weekend, we're actually off to Oxford. We're going to Oxford this weekend, and there just so happens to be in Oxford this weekend a park run, as there is every week. So we'll be doing a park run on Saturday morning. We're staying in an Airbnb, arriving Friday, coming back on Saturday, and we're looking forward to the park run. We're looking forward to meeting new people. Park run is one of the friendliest places to be. 9 o'clock on a Saturday, walk, jog, run or Jeff, 5 kilometres, 3.1 miles. The fastest of us can do it in 17 minutes. However, some people take over an hour and 10 minutes. It doesn't matter. The volunteers are happy to stay until the last person finishes, and the last person at a park run is always a volunteer. It's the tail walker, and that's why I enjoy park walk so much, because I can actually have a chat with the tail walker. as I'm going round. Okay, and thank you for the follow. And absolutely brilliant. Rosie and Lozia. Okay, and okay, brilliant. Thank you for the follows. Okay, and thank you for watching live. I'm going to close that, and I've got everything back. And I just want to say a big thank you to Kenneth, to JT and Sanjay for sticking around for a few moments. We are talking about Stonehenge. I'm just going to switch back again. Just give me a second. If by magic, this was created by Notebook LM. This, however, behind 3, 2, 1. No, we're coming back. I know we're coming back. This behind me now was created 4,500 years ago. So I'm using everything that I can to do research about Stonehenge. I will keep you in the picture because we're going to be using AI. I'll tell you how I've got my AI set up so you can copy it. You can use AI to research any topic of interest to you. And let's go to the question. And the question is coming from Lex. Stephen, what is your favourite part of history? Okay, my favourite part of history, looking back, would be the Elizabethan era in England, a time of intrigue and wars. I love reading historical fiction. So thank you for the question. So it's somewhere between Stonehenge and today. Yeah. My favourite part, and I love, one of the things that the BBC is brilliant at is period drama. And the period drama like Wolf Hall is absolutely fantastic at bringing to life what happened in the 16th and 17th and 18th centuries. We're lucky to have the BBC. I know that the BBC is going to be financed in some way going forward, not by licence fees. That's got to change because we live in a world where the BBC audience is going down. Their income is going down. They have to find a way to do it. I mean, BBC iPlayer is a win. Yeah, BBC Sounds, BBC iPlayer, absolutely brilliant resource that we can all tune into. I hope that changes. I hope it carries on. And Lex, thank you for the question. And thank you to everybody who's joining me live today. And Kenneth, thank you for staying. And we've just been visited by Matja and Flusty Blast. I love that. My favourite is World War II. And this is Lex. And Lex is saying, my favourite is World War II. I love the period dramas. I enjoy them a lot. Brilliant. Maya, thank you for the follow. And Lex, welcome. This is Lex. This is what I love about live video. And this is why I keep going back and doing more. Is every time you go live, you meet different people. Yeah. So Lex has just said, I love that era. My favourite is World War II. I love period drama. I enjoy them a lot. We're just so lucky. We're lucky to live in England, Ireland, Scotland or Wales. This is a brilliant part of the world to be. And we have a history going back thousands of years. Okay. And that's why a lot of Americans visit England, because we've got the history. I love also the period with the castles. I love castles. I love visiting castles, whether it's Warwick Castle, Leeds Castle, Stirling Castle. Yeah. We have such a depth of history, and it's with us. Yeah. When they built a castle in the 11th and 12th centuries, it was built to stay. Speaking of which, I actually live in Devizes in Wiltshire, and we have our own castle. The original castle was built in the 1100s by the Bishop of Salisbury, but that burnt down because it was wood. Then it was rebuilt in wood again, and then it was rebuilt in stone. Our current castle is a folly. It's not a real castle at all. It's a landowner's dream of what a castle should be. And have you ever been to... Oh, no, I haven't. Okay, question from Daisy. Daisy, hello. Have you been to Dover Castle? I went once on a trip and it is amazing. It is. We're so lucky. Dover Castle. I haven't been inside Dover Castle because Dover Castle has a long history of guarding the English Channel and basically royalty, and of course it's where talking of World War II, as Lex was, World War II, Winston Churchill and his cabinet actually ran part of the operation from Dover Castle. Fascinating that we are so lucky to be in England. Right, okay, I'm going to say that I'm glad you enjoyed the castle, Daisy. Yeah, and Lex, brilliant, thank you very much. Right, okay, I'm here to learn from you, hopefully to spread the knowledge as well. I want to say a big thank you for watching me live today. You've been watching Stephen from wonderful Wiltshire in England. It's been my pleasure to broadcast live. I'll be back again at 2:05 tomorrow if you want to join me again, different topic. But today has been all about Stonehenge. If you're interested in finding out more about Stonehenge, I'll be back at 2:05 next week. As I learn more, I will tell you more. And I love the fact that everybody's joined in today. And I want to say thank you for the follows. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for telling me your stories. Live video is the best. TikTok is the best. In actual fact, I'm just going to put this up for a moment. And thank you. I will follow everybody back. And let's go here. And okay. TikTok Live is the perfect platform for storytelling. It's the perfect platform for you. Lex is saying, thank you, Stephen. Goodbye. I had a great time and I'll hopefully be back tomorrow. Brilliant. Okay. Everybody, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay cool. Okay. I'm back tomorrow. It's been brilliant. Take care. Bye. And I think that's a wrap. Bye.